welcome back to my channel for January's Plan With Me. Since the Harry Potter reunion was going to be on New Year's Day, I really wanted to do a Harry Potter theme for January. I'm a huge fan of Harry Potter, the stories, the characters, and the movies, so it just felt fitting that I should have this theme at some point in my bullet journaling life. So I actually couldn't find most of my Harry Potter stuff. They're somewhere in a box, but I did have this mug that my friend gave me for my birthday, so I had to use it while I was setting up my journal. I took my gold acrylograph pen and created a border around the page for my quote page. I never put in a quote page actually because I just don't want to set up an extra page and it isn't really helpful or necessary to me, but there's so many fun quotes from the Harry Potter books that I had to put one in. So at the top I drew a lightning bolt and I also filled that in with the pen. And then I took my alphabet stamps because I think they would look cool, fun and whimsical, but also old-fashioned, which I think fits in with Harry Potter, and I started stamping in the letters. First, I also made sure I was in the center of the page and I spaced everything out properly. That took some time. So the quote I chose is "Don't let the muggles get you down," which I feel like is appropriate for this year considering we're in year 3 of the pandemic. And then I wanted to add the Hogwarts silhouette onto my cover page. So I actually used a Cricut machine. This is my sister's machine. I think it's one of the older ones. And I cut it out because I knew I wouldn't be able to cut it out properly. It also saved me some time, which was nice, but I likely won't rely on it too much. And so I cut them in the black and the craft paper. These are from Orchard Olive Notepad where they can tear out. And I glued the black one on top of the craft paper one, so I created this kind of drop shadow. And then I created a border on the cover page, just a simple black one, and then I pasted in the castle. And I really like that effect. I think it looked really cool. It's simple and pretty easy. I got the image off of Pinterest. And then I also wanted to make sure I centered my title. You can see me referring back to my grid page, which you can see in my 2022 setup. This is a new notebook for me, so the spacing is different, so I'm still kind of getting used to it. Then I just put in January with my alphabet stamps. I decided that the quote page looked kind of plain, so I wanted to take my acrylograph pen and colored over some of the words with the gold ink. I thought it looked really cool because there's a mix of the gold and the black, and this was actually pretty easy to do. I also hope my sound is okay. I'm using AirPods instead of my usual corded headphones. I probably need to get a proper microphone, but yeah. And then that's it. My cover page and my quote page is super simple. My calendar I usually put next to my cover page, but it's gonna come somewhere else. Next are my habit trackers. I actually simplified this page by only including 4 instead of the usual 6 that I do. I wanted to kind of start off slow in the new year and just kind of get settled in. This first week has already been pretty hectic, so I'm hoping, to get adjusted. This spread is inspired by the Hogwarts letters that Harry gets. So you can see I'm coloring in some envelopes, and then the open pieces of paper are parchment paper. So I took my Tombow, and I also have this Crayola marker that's this peach apricot color, and I also filled that in for the envelopes. I didn't like just the peach color, so I wanted to see if I could blend the Tombow and the Crayola together, and it kind of created like this middle color, so I colored some of the pages with a blend of them. And then I took a red tombow and a maroon tombow and colored in the seal that closes the envelope together. I added some borders because I feel like none of this would pop and it would just look really unfinished without it. So that's what I'm doing there with my Stabilo pen. I also love this little ruler from Macy Lane Co. that also came with my notebook. I actually wasn't sure how this page would turn out. I didn't really like the way it looked as I was creating it, but once I finished, I think it actually came out really cute. This was definitely inspired by a spread that I saw on Pinterest also. And so then I put in the titles of my habits, and then I just wrote down the numbers 1 through 31. I didn't create an actual calendar that aligns with how January's calendar looked. I'm just going to circle each day that I complete the habit, just to keep it simple. And then I created this little dashed line so it looks like the envelopes and the papers are kind of flying. So you'll see on the right side, I have half the page filled out with doodles, which are actually picture frames. I'm actually going to skip that because I'm going to fold this page, and then the inside of the fold will be my calendar spread. So I'm going to skip to coloring and filling out the calendars before I fold the page and it gets harder to do it. So each of my headers for this month are also going to be using my stamps. I'm kind of obsessed with the stamps right now. I want to keep using them on everything, but I think that will get boring, so I'm going to try not to. For this spread, I don't have the browns or the blacks or the golds. Instead, I have my house color. I was sorted into Slytherin. So I have my gray representing the silver and then this green tombow. And so I alternated it throughout the calendar for each of the boxes. I don't really have a reason to create a full page spread for a calendar because nothing's really happening right now, but I thought it would look really cool for this spread by having it open up. So I just created the full one just for the effect, honestly. Then I have these boxes, which was super simple, and then I put in the days of the week on the top, and then my camera cut out, so you didn't see me putting in this note section. So I just came back the next day and did it because I was kind of annoyed. And then at the bottom, I drew in the sorting hat and colored it in black. I'm actually really happy with how the sorting hat came out. I just looked at a picture and I wasn't sure if I would get the details right, but it came out really cute. And then I put in some of the qualities that are associated with Slytherin House: cunning, ambition, and leadership. I think these do apply to me. I'm not an evil person. I think Slytherin gets a bad rep, and yeah, I just feel like a lot of the characters are two-dimensional. And at the top, because there's a lot of empty space, I decided to put in some washi tape. You can see I'm always indecisive with which ones I choose, so I kind of go back and forth a little bit. And then you'll see on the other side of this page are more picture frames because the unfilled parts will be folded in, and so then I can open that up to the calendar. In the meantime, I'm going to go to the right side, which will be my dashboard, monthly to-do list stuff. Kind of this like random not random, but kind of this catch-all page for things that I need to look out for throughout this month, but don't necessarily have a designated day to do it. So I drew in some more parchment. This time it's like rolled up and folded and filled them in. And then I also drew some wands on the side. Again, I wasn't sure how this page would turn out because it felt really plain. This is probably my least favorite spread of them all, but I actually think it came together in the end. Also, the lighting is different throughout these clips because I filmed over a couple days. I filmed in the daytime and then the sunlight goes in like 2 seconds, so that's why it looks different. And then I took a darker brown for the wands. Maybe I should make them different colors because they're technically different wands. And then I have these stickers from Bobo Design Studio that have these kind of like sparkles. Originally I drew them in and I was just going to fill them in, but I was like, I have these stickers, I might as well use them. So I put them on top of the wand so it looks like stuff is happening. I also have some lightning bolt stickers from the same set, so I also put that in. Instead of naming this dashboard or monthly or whatever, I just named it this month, so it'll have some goals I hope to accomplish, things I need to do in the month, and then things I need to purchase. Super simple. Now I'm going back to the picture frames next to the habits trackers. These frames are going to be for my favorite spreads. I thought it'd be fun to make these different quirky frames because there's so many pictures and picture frames at Hogwarts, and it's like a big collage of them. You also see moving portraits throughout the books and the movies. So I thought that'd be fun to create different ones and color them in differently. So that's what I'm doing, going in with all of my different markers, and I doodled all these different designs, which I think was actually pretty fun. And it came out really cool and whimsical, and it also provided some color because a lot of these spreads are pretty brown. And then I also outlined them with this 0.1 pen. I actually don't know what brand this is. I'll link it in the description box with everything else. And then you'll see me go to the other side and also color in the frames too. I skipped through some of the coloring on this page just because I felt like it would be kind of repetitive. You just see me filling in the different frames. Yeah, I thought that was fun. I got to use different colors. And then now I'm going to fold in the pages so you'll see it'll open up to the calendar spread. I don't think this is a Dutch door because I didn't cut any of the pages and kind of create that flap, but it's going to open up to this, which will look really cute. And at first I was going to draw in this parchment, which is going to be for the Marauders map cover, but I just didn't feel like drawing. It was going to take a long time, so I took the Cricut again and I cut out the shape, which I think actually looks really cool and better. And then I'm going to take my scissors and then just cut along the middle so then you can actually open this page. You can see small pieces kind of got disconnected, so I had to glue those back next to it. And then I wrote, I solemnly swear that I am up to no good, which is what the Marauders map says, you know, when Harry's using it. I thought that was cool. And then I also wanted to draw in little footprints that you see on the map when people are walking around. So I drew those in too. Very simple. This is with my Micron pen. And then I actually went in later and just brought a black Tombow pen because it was a little easier to color it in. And then that's it. I think it looks really cool when you open it. I'm really proud of this one. It came out so nice. It is a little awkward folding it in, so I just made sure it pressed in really well and it didn't squish the cutout on top. So you'll see me kind of adjusting that a little bit as the pages kind of get used to being folded in. And then you can see there's a little extra on the edges. I debated cutting it, but I just left it because I was lazy. And then next onto the last spread, which is my weekly spread. So on this side, I drew floating candles, which you see in the Great Hall. I was thinking they're really cool, so I drew those in, and then also drew in some night sky, since the ceiling always has like the night sky and stars, and then that's where the candles are floating. I'm really happy actually with how this came out. Like all of these spreads came out really nice, like just as how I envisioned, which is nice because it doesn't always happen that way. I'm also on vacation, so I had more time to draw these spreads, plan them out, so I probably won't be as detailed in the future just because work will start. I have a full-time job even though I work from home. I am like bound to meetings and stuff like a regular 9 to 5, so I just don't have that kind of flexibility, and it takes a lot of time to draw these out, at least for me. So I think Harry Potter came out when I was 7, but I didn't start reading them until I was 9. My mom actually bought me the first couple books, and I read through them really quickly, and I was hooked. I was always a really big reader growing up, so this wasn't the book that got me into reading, but it's probably the series that I've enjoyed the most because the books also ended when I was graduating high school, so Harry was in his 7th year, when I was in my senior year of high school, so that was really cool. And then the cast of Harry Potter is also around my age, so we were growing up together as the series came out. So it was really cool just getting to be a part of this phenomenon and like reading fan theories and getting excited for books to come out. I would not go on the internet once I got the books. Thankfully, I was not, Instagram wasn't really a thing. No, Instagram was not a thing. And I didn't really go on Twitter that much. I avoided Facebook. I just shut myself off and like read the books, which is honestly like the best feeling ever. The spread is actually pretty simple, so I just drew 3 boxes on one side and 4 on the other for the days of the week. I put a little note section on top because this page is pretty bare, so I can write in random things over there, and then I put a little calendar also on the bottom. Then for the header, I just took my alphabet stamps and stamped in January 3rd through 9th. My weekly spreads start on Monday, even though all of my calendars start from Sunday. For me, the beginning of the week starts on Monday because work starts on Monday, but I want to keep calendars the same. And that's it. That's my January setup, even though it's a little late. I'm really happy with how these came out. I think they look really cool and they don't look too kiddish, which I think is what I wanted. I didn't want them to look too typical for Harry Potter spreads as some of the ones I've seen online, which I think they're great. I just wanted to do something that was more fitting for me. If you actually go to my blog, babe-food.com, which is also in the description box, you'll see like much more Harry Potter stuff, like the Harry Potter bridal shower that we threw for my cousin, a bunch of Harry Potter recipes. If you go to my main Instagram page at babefood, there's a ton of like Harry Potter stuff that you can find throughout my feed. So definitely check that out if you're also interested. And that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll talk to you next time.